Hey everybody, welcome. Chat is in a best of 3 mood today. A little unusual. Usually I expect best of 1 to win and then I decide whether or not to tip the scales because it's been a while since we've played best of 3. But best of 3 just straight up won today. Right on. I'm in. It's always a little nerve-wracking because you just feel like you got a 3-0 to get ahead, and your 2-1. Your 2-1 is your all right. I'll take that. That's fine. If we drop down to 5,000, 6,000 something gems because we got 1,000 of it back, that's fine. We're getting paid to play by wizards. That's an important factor in your expected value. It's why I encourage second accounting so much, even though if let's say we 2-1 and we quote only get 1,000 of our 1,500 gems back, that's 500 gems we've quote lost, but we've gained some collection building, and as we play, Wizards is paying us to play in gold with the quests and the win bonuses. So when you tack those on as well, you actually start to really make up for that, even the 500 that you're in the hole for, and you get closer to being even when on the straight in and out of the event you're still a losing proposition. It helps mitigate that through getting paid by Wizards. So hopping off of your main account after they're not paying you well anymore, which is after you've completed a quest and won at least once, but maybe up to 4 times, hop to a second account, and you can always get paid nicely by Wizards to play, which can really help with the dollars. And then you'll have plenty of change left over to take to cardkingdom.com, my sponsor, and you can buy some cardboard and keep your play going at the kitchen table at Friday Night Magic at your next, quote, big tournament. I don't know when the next big live tournament is going to be. As someone who sells physical Magic cards myself, I sure would love large paper tournaments to come back. That can help drive interest in constructed formats, which helps drive interest in singles, which helps drive people to bust out their wallets and buy some cardboard rectangles. So check them out at Card Kingdom or at my store. If you're looking for such rectangles, we can hook you up and we'll take good care of you. I have a perfect rating in my store. I kind of have like a eBay style store, and I've gotten a positive review from every one of my customers, and I really try to maintain that. I think it's good for business to be able to show that all of your customers have had satisfactory to great experiences at your establishment, and I know Card Kingdom feels the same way. I try to model myself after a lot of their business choices, including great customer service like that. But let's dive in. We'll play some gems. Still above 5,000, even if we come away with nothing. So I like that. But we'll get into the draft view here and see how long this takes to fill. Chat letting me know CFB does have a big live event scheduled. I assume it's going to be proof of vax and mask up. Again, we were talking about this before I got on the YouTube video side of town, but responsible behavior at this point in the pandemic is being vaccinated and masking up indoors. And if you're doing those things, then don't feel badly about returning back to some semblance of normalcy. I'm not going to say normal, but you are allowed to go and do stuff and do things if you get vaccinated. I mean, you're allowed to do it if you're not, but I'm talking morally, your own mind. Let yourself off the hook. Allow yourself to go and do things if you're being responsible that way. Well, this is kind of late stage best of 3 queue filling pace. To see if there's an AMA to do. I don't know if Septimin is still around, but I still want Septimin. Maybe Septimin weighed in and I missed it, but I was asking Septimin for clarity on the AMA I have waiting from them. And I still haven't reconnected with the July talk track, so I'm going to hold off on that. But so I guess we're just killing time. Oh no, heading the wrong direction. Boo. Thanks, baby. I don't have much. My Facebook presence is awful. It's just a stub that I've left sitting there, and occasionally I get notifications saying people have liked Going Optimal on Facebook, and I'm like, thank you, dedicated viewer and friend. I know there's very little there besides my logo and name, but I appreciate that you took the time to like it. This is a dramatic shift downward. Like I can't remember the last time we did traditional on air. Obviously, it wasn't Friday because we did Gauntlet, but like maybe even Thursday we did do traditional. I can't remember, but at least once last week we did traditional, and it filled pretty promptly. But it's hard to say. I can't remember where we came in. I mean, like if I was the 7th or 8th seat, of course it filled promptly. The question is, if I was the 2nd seat, how fast did it fill from there? But this feels like orders of magnitude level slower than it was last week. King Coffee asks, there's an AMA I can take. Is there a reason why the durations between two sets differ so much? Crimson Vow is almost around the corner. Part of it is December. December is an odd month for Wizards. Not many people are there, and despite it being the holiday season, it's not actually a great time to try and sell booster packs. So with December being a down period, then working around December tends to change how everything else plays out. Can warp when sets come out. That's one factor, but it tends to be things like that. This is also a bit of a special case as they're trying to make it a kind of a sister set. What does this do? Choose up to 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. An opponent chooses one of them. Return that to your hand. Return the other to the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. Exile it. So one of them you get back to your hand. The other you get one attack with, and your opponent decides which, and then you get to flash it back. Yeah, we could take Drowned and Cut Blue or Ecstatic Awakener and just take what I think is the best card here. Search Party Captain, Chaplain are interesting as well. Dreadhound I like, but really not as much as First Awakener. It is a 6. I'm going to take First Awakener. I love that card. It does good things. And we get rewarded with one of the better removal cards in the set. Media likes Dreadhound #1 over Awakener #1. It's totally fair. I just feel like my Dreadhound is a card I like, but a card I can operate without. Whereas you can't operate without early plays, and this is one of the more powerful ones. I like it. Yeah, I don't care about forcing Vamps here. I really like there's some interesting white cards, Loyal Griff, but really Bait Hook Angler or Startle, especially Angler with the Awakener. So I do start to look for the 1, 2, 3 Awakener plan, and Startle does that as well. Yeah, it's Angler or Startle, because you can startle your own Awakener to get the token in order to yeah, startles go later, but not so much these days. That was a really tough call. One of those two, though, I liked. Hobbling Zombie over Geist Wave, or is there anything to pull us off the blue-black leaning I'm starting here? Not really. I mean, I'm not trying to, I'm not, I'm willing to lean towards the better color pairs, and if we end up zombies, that's fine. But I do like, I certainly like taking this over a wave. I've more and more, like, 3 of one color, 1 of another is so much better of a place to be than in even split. We do this, we can back off a blue if it's not open and still be in a fine place knowing that we're black. So just thinking about that, and here you go, there's no blue in this pack at all, right? So we could take another Hobbling Zombie, or we can say, hey, black-green looks kind of open. What about taking one of these and being willing to back into black-green? Because, you know, sighting is real. Yeah. Trooper Rebirth, both interesting. Chat is kind of calling out for both. I don't. It didn't suck for me as a splash in blue green, but Contortionist Troop is going to be better at more points in the game than this. I'll give you that. So we grabbed a troop. We're still not married to that either. Let's see what table brings us. I mean, Burn the Accursed still here. You could even consider a card like that. But Wilds is going to go in any deck, so that feels nice. I don't mind the Gale Drifter. I just want to, you know, Marshall and Luis gave this a D. I don't think this is a D. That's a D is a really low grade to give to a 3/2 flyer that dies into a 2/2 flyer. I mean, C- at worst on Gale Drifter for me. But yeah, I'm going to take Evolving Wilds. And now we get a Crawl. Continues to really focus on the black and figure out from here what else we're doing. I mean, in black-blue deck, I mean, in white-blue, I run it a ton. If I care about Disturbed specifically, if I've got Disturbed synergies, it's an active want. And sometimes it's been a necessary evil in a contested blue-black draft. Sometimes you end up blue-black, but it's contested, and you got to do what you got to do. Scoundrel... I think this is worse than the 3/2. I call this a D+ from how it's played out for me. It mostly is just a 4/3 for 4. I don't know. It's worked for me. I don't know. I know that I often have an outdated or behind perspective on a given format, but all I can do is say the flying plan has really worked. And maybe I've just gotten the rock, scissors, paper luck where when I've been playing those 3/2s, I haven't been facing people with good flying defense. Yeah, I can take Sentry, I suppose. I kind of switched over to it. I kind of regret that. I don't know. I glanced at chat and they convinced me to switch to Sentry, but I do like just sticking with a single color when you have this much flexibility. I get the Occultist isn't amazing, but with Awakener and other sack effects, it gets there. We'll take a Wolf because we're closer to green here than anything else, but there's a lot of white going around as well. I guess we can take this. Silverbolt, totally fine. I don't know what I passed it for, but I agree, it's fine. I'm less inclined to pursue it when I'm clearly black, simply because I expect to have that job covered better. But if I'm in removal light colors, it becomes a much higher priority. Oh, we are best of 3. Candle Guide could make the cut out of the board against a deck really looking to leverage graveyard stuff. All right, we've got a blue rare that draws some cards and is pretty good, but we got a Scob Wrangler and we are in the heavy black. A little more green than blue. And I'm trying to listen to that, if that's where the table's sending us. But I think when the only black temptation is really another Hobbling Zombie, and the only green card is a guide, I think we hedge towards the Wrangler, understanding that we still might end up here. But it's also possible that we just get the blue hookup in this pack 2, and then it gets cut again in pack 3, but we get enough in pack 2 to do the thing. Oil Can likes the rare. I do too, but I think Wrangler is just better for where this deck is headed. Oh man, bomby bomb. I want this siege zombie badly, but this thing, if they don't kill it, is like, wow. This is just like a must kill, and it's easily killable as a 1/1. But when you can play around with with your decay tokens and just get a nonstop stream of them, whoo. Ghoulish Procession. Where am I in this card? I feel like sometimes it still feels like build around, but I'm coming up on it in that I feel like there are more decks that can successfully build around it. I think in a vacuum it's still meh, and I'm not looking for it here. But if you're doing self-sacrifice or are just removal laden, then fine. But what are we actually taking here? You take Farmer over. Yeah, I take Farmer, and we still kind of see what our second color is. It's feeling more green than blue, but the Wrangler I think was still the correct pick. We may even, with an Evolving Wilds and being in green, be able to splash a Wrangler, which is a fine late top deck. Interesting. Angler, another shot at an Angler, which works with the one Awakener we have, but I think the best card here is just the Revenge, and then Archivist a little bit behind the Revenged, and Angler a little bit. These are kind of similar to me. I think Archivist is good. It's a little slow. I mean, like, compare this to Organ Hoarder, which is maybe not a fair comparison, but I mean, we're talking about card quality and card advantage, and it's like, it's nothing like an Organ Hoarder. I'm going to take the Interaction. We should be able to get the 3/6 amalgams like whenever. These are, I'm fine with. I think this is a reasonable play if you don't have the job filled. If you don't have 5-drop plus filled, you can do worse, but it's not a priority at all. And here I'm just going to take an Interloper as a playable 2. You think we could end up blue-green? Maybe. I really think we got some good black. It's but you're right, it's not insane. That being said, I think the Interloper is still the best card here, and I'm taking it. Larder Zombie or Shadow Beast sighting in kind of a decision time moment. What are we doing here? What do we... If we cut the green, we're pretty kind of short on playables. I guess the zombie not quite strong enough to adhere to. I'm going to take the green card. Green does seem more open. I just obviously like black-blue a lot more. We could take something like a Rejuvenator and be able to splash, but this is where I just want a Traveler. It's not that great, especially in this deck that's not really operating at instant speed, although you can do the Traveler into Revenge trick, and that's pretty nice. I'm not happy about this card, but I'm not happy about any of the other Sultai options in the pack, so I took that. Here we'll take a 3 power 2. Blade Brand, but Timberland Guide is interesting because it actually does the Awakener curve out in a really interesting way. Awakener into counter on Awakener into Sacrifice Guide for 5/5 Awakener. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, Coven is in the deck as well. I think this is just another Interloper pick. And we're gravitating away from the blue. I just 5-mana green creatures are so interchangeable. Yeah, we might splash the Wrangler. I want a little more fixing before I would do that, but we'll keep in mind that we have a start there. And I'll take Vivisection. If we did get pulled into blue, it'd be nice to have blue playables. And on that front, I guess if we did get pulled into blue, I'd want 2s. Even though that's not a good 2. Is this, yeah, with the troop and 5 drops, we could take the Celestis. And it is indeed fixing any color. So it gives us at least a Scob Splash if we want it. I don't know if we want it yet. We're not pumping out the... I mean, we have the Jadar, but if we're at the point where a Scob Wrangler is tapping crazy amounts of stuff, Jadar actually isn't producing zombies anymore. But we'll take the rare, especially over what options are in this pack for us. You like the Hobbling Zombie? Eaten alive over a hedge back towards green or the generic green beef, or the head towards blue or the generic green beef is fine. Clear shot, clear pick. Maybe we wheel that sighting. Another opportunity for a hobbling zombie. We could also just grab another sighting. We're starting to have the, you know, with the Celestis, some fixing, the farmer, like we might be able to get to that 7 mana reasonably. Yeah, that's true. We don't have a ton to deal with flying or best of 3. We could just take this to do that, but yeah, I'm gonna go sighting and try and wheel or get a bird thingy later. Bird duder. Rotten Reunion in best of 3 goes up in value for me, I think, over just a random Snarling Wolf. Well, we had some world in which blue-black hooked us up. If we really just kind of forced it, maybe, but I think we're fine here. Yeah, we just take a farmer and are pretty okay with that. Really surprising Abomination still here, but it's kind of surprising Eaten Alive still here. We're happy to take that, and we get some card quality decisions, which we want. Outlaw for a critter or Howl for some interaction. What do we need? We could take either, but we're not really wolf heavy. I mean, we've got some. We got Traveler and Scoundrel we could play. I'm going to take... Yeah, I don't think any are making the cut, so it probably doesn't matter, you're right. Maybe Might of the Old Ways could make the cut. This splashes... But I don't think... That's not how I want to splash. I'd rather have a reasonable trick at my disposal. Water Zombie or Duress? Are we ever... I guess if we're playing against specifically red-blue spells, we could bring in a Duress. Yeah, we could have taken that, Rob. I just don't think it mattered that much. I got my Celestis. I like that. And field for Vault Progress. And Vault Progress. All right, I don't even know if we're splashing the Wrangler. Like, if we'd ended up with the 5-drop make 2 decay tokens, I'd be thinking it's worth it. But, like, if we look at the Oracle text and see what's making tokens, we've got Shadow Beast Sighting making the 1-shot, Hobbling Zombie making 1 on death. And really, it's not a bad deck for Jadar in the sense that we are so low on decay makers that Jadar is like, you know, we can just... Of course, the thing with decay tokens is you can send them all every turn. If you really want to make Jadar make tokens, just send all your tokens every turn. But that means it's like kind of a bit of almost a non-bow with Wrangler that wants to build up the tokens. So I'm going to cut the Wrangler, and we're going to keep this a straightforward deck color-wise. And then that leaves us... Oh, we got 3 of these. I didn't realize we had 3 Shadow Beast sightings. I think we still run them all. I think I like them better than this Scoundrel. Might cut that. Because we're at 15-11, but of the 11, 3 of them are make creatures. So we're really at 18-8. And that makes me want to cut a Scoundrel. It just never I'm super curious. Like, has anybody seen the Scoundrel do the thing? Like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody have to even play differently because of its claws. I guess maybe once we played differently because of the claws on it, but I haven't exactly seen it a ton, so it's probably just sample size on some level. Maybe that means I just cut the Traveler too. Again, I like Traveler when you're operating at instant speed, and then you pass turn 4, flip the Traveler. So effectively, you've played a 3-drop that attacks as a 2/3 menace once, and then starts attacking as a 4/4 menace. I think that's playable and fine, but you really have to be set up to play at instant speed to do that. So I'm going to take the Traveler out as well. And looking for final cuts, let's take a look and see what our creature versus not situation is. Again, we know these are effectively creatures. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We could cut, like, I think like a Blade Brand or a Might could go, but I like it. Everything else has got to stay. I like all this stuff. So then, is one of these creatures so weak we should cut it? No, I guess Bounding Wolf is kind of weak. I think Blade Brand is probably the cut here, though, since we're not really... Although Blade Brand does work with the Jadar, because a common play pattern of Jadar is, shrug, I will send this in to be eaten by you because I don't care, I get another one at the end of turn. So actually Blade Brand plus Jadar is quite real. It makes me want to try that. So I could cut the Might instead. Or I think I'm going to go with my gut and cut the Bounding Wolf. We'll bring it in against flyers. Interlopers are play one way in a very unfortunate way, but they are 2-drops, and I think they're worth running both. I guess if, 2, if you need to be defensive at any point, is obviously a liability. I'm liking the Timberland Guide again on the Awakener plan. It's fine to slot in at 2. We do have a Coven reward in Might and Contortionist, so I think I'm going to go with this. Call this our deck. And I don't love it, but I could see how this could get some wins. But I could also see how it could fall behind in an attrition war and just lose on attrition fail. So let's see. We are black-green. We got eccentric farmers, Shadow Beast sightings ×3. Sight, insight, sighted. I want a sight joke. Insight. Here, deep insights. Eccentric insights. Now I'm trying to look for another word. We have on, yeah, that's fine, whatever, let's play. Any bling requests? No. I'll go for some jump starts. Always interesting basics on the jump starts. When is I got some dental visit. When is it? Monday, 10/11. All right, next Monday. Next Monday. All right, what do you think? I don't know. Hard for me to tell how good this deck is, but I will see what you all think. If we played this out 1,000,000 times, how many wins would we end up with? On average. All right. Quite keepable. Sentry into Farmer into Guide, putting a counter in a relevant place, or Sure Shot, Clear Shot, I mean. Let's get over here. Almost certainly going to farm here. But I suppose there are worlds where we clear shot. Well, now this might be a world where we actually Timberland Guide, so that this thing can't just straight trade with the Sentry. Or we could just clear shot. That's a really bad use of a clear shot, though, to be honest. I could also just Eccentric Farmer, not attack this turn, and then worry about the play next turn. Yeah, I'm just trying hard to figure out a way to get my 3-drop through here, but it's too costly to bust up my curve out to do so. So we're going to farm and hope we find a land. You know, we might whiff. I mean, and it would suck if we do, because if we mill 3 cards and don't put a land back in our hand, it means we milled some action. All right. Got one back. And yeah, if we get chat observing, if we get Coven going, then this can't block the Sentry anyway. How do I get Coven going, though? I put it here and we get a 4, a 2, and a 1. Okay. And this can't block anyway, so that all seems good. And we get to interlope. Love it. Farmer can get in too. They can chump block with the Occultist if they want to prevent 2 and draw. If that were the floor of the Occultist, I would like it a lot. The problem with the Occultist that its floor is that it sits there while your opponent attacks you with evasion. That's the floor of the card that you're like, oh my god, this is the worst. Like, I've paid 2 mana for nothing. Probably just going to clear shot that and make things really tough on Oppo. 1 swamp, I believe. I remember, let me bring up my tips and tricks from our friend G Guards. I remember there's something, but that it's not a big deal. Oh no, I want the... Why does the search not work all of a sudden? Huh. Sorry. I don't think there is anything. Oh yeah, thank you. It's the graveyard remover, right? That's what the graveyard instant, which doesn't affect things here, so it's fine. So we can clear shot let's see, what does it say? The deals damage to his power, so we can actually go anywhere with it. Might as well do the farmer. Thank you. Appreciate it. There's the link I was looking for. I'll get that brought up for future reference now. This is instant, right? Great. And I remembered this. I'm not throwing away my shot. It's time to take a shot. Yeah, we'll just grasp that and win. Kind of don't even need to show them. We have 5 points. They block our biggest. We still get through for 5. They have 2 mana though, so I will just do this. There's an argument for not showing them the grasp. But there you go. That's why to do it. They had removal. All right. White, black, sack stuff, vampires, just kind of aggro, some covenants, some mixed bag here. Nothing nothing super central to the blue-white or the black-white strategy in general, except maybe the occultist for the self-sack, but do we bring in a Rotten Reunion? That's one of our sideboard tools. Haven't seen anything that they're using to go dig from the graveyard yet, so I think we'd say no on that. Wolf, do we need to get up in the air? I'm also going to say no on that. The Interloper is a thing, but I don't want to play a 3-mana answer to a 2-mana threat. So I think we just run this back. I didn't get enough information from Oppo to make any adjustments there. All right, another keeper. What do we open on? Somewhat depends on opponent, but probably the Interloper, assuming that on the draw, our Sentry isn't really going to get there. And there we go. Flesh Taker indeed, although now I want to represent potentially trading with a Flesh Taker, so I'm going to go ahead and actually play the Sentry. And then next turn we can do a clear shot on the Flesh Taker. Even if they play a 2-drop and leave a mana open to threaten the pump, we clear shot on a Sentry is going to do 4 anyway. But if they do just offer us a Sentry for Flesh Taker, I'm going to take that Flesh and be okay with this offer. I think attrition is good for us. We got a Shadow Beast sighting for 2 spells. Yeah, whether it's a trade or trick, I'm cool either way there. And how do we want to deal with that? I guess we just interlope, and then that's fine. We race it. You're confused? Oh, you were thinking that you were surprised and expecting a trick there? I kind of was, but also some people are just like, well, they got 3 power, I got 2 power, let's trade. Yeah, and also with the way we played game 1, maybe they thought we value that more than we do. All right, now we're just going to get in with our Interloper, make a 4/4, and see what they can do about that. Oh, that thing's got to die. We all know that. Clear Shot's an instant. Blade Brand, instant. I like sending, if they don't block, I'm just going to drop a cav. If they do block, we have action to respond. I don't, they might block with the Outlaw just because they want to draw a card or something, in which case I kill the opportunist at instant speed and don't let them. 14 to 20, we're a little behind in the race as well, so I got to be aware of that. If we kind of have to make them have removal, I think. We're going to let this happen, of course, the damage. I could keep shields up with this, but we're not dead to this attack or anything, so I'm going to go Cav. Even, like, if they go removal, swing all, we're not dead, so... yeah, killing the 1/3 before they can kill something of ours for value is a very fair point, Hammer. And brace yourselves. We at least get a card out of it, but they did too. All right, glad to draw a land. I do want to get to the 7 for the beast, and we can now draw a card in Clear Shot. Heck, we could even draw a card in Interlope if we like. I could attack with the Interloper and sack it to kill the opportunist, for example. But with Blade Brand and Clear Shot at the ready and a card draw at the ready, I like leaving the 4/4 back for defense and then attacking. And now, I mean, we could kill the opportunist while shields are completely down, but oppos tend to do stuff under the expectation that their opportunist is about to draw them cards. So we also, with the Clear Shot, do have some action there. So I'm just going to pass with all of our instant speed action. Although I guess I let it flip to Knight. That's fair. Yeah, that's that. I didn't really properly think that through, but let's see. So now... they are going to have the activation for that regardless. So then I need to Clear Shot the Predator, because we can't survive if I don't. But I can also make them spend the 3 before I do, because right now it still blocks. And when they go to activate the 3, that's when I can do the Clear Shot. Like now. So now I'm going to Clear Shot. Unfortunately, the Predator, I kind of screwed up. I should have done it just to keep the flip from happening. If we had killed this, this would be unflipped, and we wouldn't have to take these extremes to not die. But here we are. And actually, I should probably... I'm going to draw first. I should draw first. Might draw different removal. Yeah, mob gets a counter here. But we're not dead, and we have decent action for next turn. Probably going to have to sack the Interloper to Eaten Alive. Since this can't block and we need dead creatures, or we need to stop our opponent from dealing damage to us with creatures. And that means either blocking or removing. And since this can't block, it's got to turn into removal. Ah, Xaxes. Yeah, I feel like I let that one go. That's on me. That was a winnable game, or at least a game where we could have found stable and didn't because of the lines I took. So, don't love that result. But I like our chances. I feel like this is a decent matchup for us. I think we can get there. I think that's fair, Pablo. Fight spells into open mana is pretty risky. Sometimes you have to, but maybe that's just why fight spells and combat tricks in general are a little less spicy in this format because of that possibility. It feels like we could, I mean, maybe like something about a flash wolf that it just feels like this opponent, we could maybe play into the flashy flash. In a long game, it's going to get us value. And I think we would cut this against a hyper aggro opponent. They're kind of aggro. But I'm going to keep it. I think if we get in a long game, it helps us win. And we're not splashing, though, so I see what you're saying. It's not. It lost one of its functions, job functions, without the splash. All right. Not that I want to sacrifice the Sentry to the Awakener, but nice to have a 1/2/3. We could send in and see how they block. If they block the Awakener, we have Sack the Sentry or just Blade Brand. If they don't block, we just follow with our own Sentry. If they block our Sentry, we might just let that happen, accept that trade, and follow with another creature. We could also just clear shot and then set up Sentry plus Blade Brand next turn. This is a thing we wouldn't mind dead, but do we want to use our premium removal on it right now? We're definitely going to play a land before we get in. I can do that if you'd like to see that. But I'm kind of with JC that I don't really want to do clear shot here. I'm going to send in and see how they want to block. I think no matter how they block, we have things to do that are totally reasonable. And again, I think we just let the Sentry trade with the Taker and play another Sentry, and that's fine. The only, like, we want to flip the Awakener before they can kill it and deny us our value, but also, boy, it feels good when your opponent takes the time to do that anyway. Another spot where they might block in ways that... Hey, Dr. Unk's dropping some... making it rain subs. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Doctor. Now, what are we doing here, though? At this point, we could probably clear shot and go and feel pretty good about it. And then next turn, we have Flip Awakener with Blade Brand. And getting this thing dead is fine, and yeah, I'm gonna do it. Everything goes to my kids eventually, hat. Everything. Or unks. Yeah, now we'll just send in again. I don't really care how they block. I think if they block the Awakener, I sack the Sentry. Probably sack this the Sentry almost no matter what. No, I'm cool turning this into a 4/4 and drawing a card. Like, that's what makes this card so good. It doesn't even suck that hard to, like, give up a real creature to the thing. Like, I don't... This is not ideal, giving up a Sentry to Awakener, but we get a 4/4 that wins combat here, and we draw a card, and that's totally fine. There we go, they got it. Still think we're okay. Farmer is not much. Hopefully Blade Brand cycles us into something. Yikes! Now we're not going to cycle the brand. We need it to take out the behemoth potentially, so I'm going to hold. And we still need, in order to take out the behemoth, we're going to need two blockers. But let's go Cav now, and then we'll have Farmer, Blade Brand next turn. Not 3 for 1. And heck, with Cav Farmer, it's really a 1 for 1. Ooh, that's interesting as well. And we get back a land to make it all happen. Now if they got removal, we're in trouble. But see, they don't even have an attack now, they don't think. So that's good. That's not so good, but we'll hold. There we go. Excellent. That's excellent because what I was saying, like, we need something to actually apply some pressure now. We could even make a 7/7 trade and draw, but I'm gonna still say no attacks because now we have. I was saying I kept the Blade Brand in exactly because of this combo. I'm gonna send in this. This zombie, and it's not going to look suspicious at all, really, because this is what you're supposed to do with this card. And their choice is either face the Blade Brand or just take 2 a turn. So now at least we are, if nothing changes, we win. And maybe they'll see, like, that this is the pattern and that that I have no reason not to send in my 2/2, and that they'll finally start to block it because, hey, he's just sending that in for extra 2 damage. But nope, they're playing super cagey on their behemoth. And I'm fine with that. Now we get to drop a sighting and still have both of our instants available. Good question. Did we sow them a Blade Brand? I don't remember. Now, are we wide enough to just send all, knowing that we can Blade Brand to 1 for 1 on anything they block, including, assuming they block the 5/5. I'm thinking we're at attack all. Especially with, we can go yeah, not Jadar. There's no reason to send Jadar, really. Although, yeah, because I don't want this block. I don't want mob on Jadar. But if it were just the behemoth, I'd even send the rare. And then actually Jadar plus a zombie gives us a desperation block. So let's do it. And we'll brand. If I could might and save this, I would, but it doesn't save it. So we'll just accept the trade and cycle with the Blade Brand instead of the might. Well, does might get us a win? Does it give us trample? No. 1, 2. Yeah, we don't get a win, so just Blade Brand is fine. Well, we get the card either way. That's true. But that means Death Touch. Yeah, I would get more damage through. I still like this to actually win a combat if needed later. Yeah, so actually that worked out because the giving it Death Touch instead of just big allowed it to trample through more, right? And we even get a Shadow Beast sighting here. Good card there that we dodged, but we got the victory.
I like to do a little superior dance. Join me, boys.
Baby, how you feeling? Woo, child, tired of the bullshit.
That was from Hat. Yeah, it's Joe Montana. Sometimes they have athletes host Saturday Night Live, and it's always a mixed bag. They're not actors or comedians generally, so. Really pretty low curve overall. Show me the forest we could keep, but we can't see the forest, so I'm going to mulligan. That's a keep. And we'll ditch, I guess, the sighting, although you could make a case for, like, Blade Brand or Eaten Alive, really. Eaten Alive doesn't have a good sack source here, so maybe Eaten Alive is actually as a 5-drop farthest away from being relevant here. Tap, tap, tapping at the window. No, I have not seen a hair toss mashup by Pamplemousse. Sentry, what are we seeing over here? Tapping, sighting, Crasher coming down. So if Crasher comes down, Sentry at least trades. Let's do that. Well, it looks like red-green spells. Are we going to see the example of this deck in action? Yeah, I was wondering about that. Grapefruit is a funny artist name. I'm Grapefruit! I mean, we have an artist called Meatloaf. I suppose Grapefruit. You'd have a whole dinner-based theme week. I'm going to go Sentry again. Continues to threaten a trade here at least. Good, found our 4th land. That's pretty important, obviously. They're going to be pretty happy to trade off an Elementalist for a Sentry. But I think we should probably offer anyway. it is what it is. They got some value there. We're going to try and get our own value eventually, but I like staying aggro and dropping a beast. They're going to drop a beast of their own, probably trade those off, and we'll try to make another one. That's true. I could have waited for Coven, I suppose. Maybe I'm not planning for that ability as much as I should. I tend to think of three powered 2-drops as trade them while you got them type cards. I do like sending everything here with the Blade Brand, offering that on the 4/4 if they want to try and make that eat. Yeah, we kind of telegraph that we've got something, but that's okay. What are you gonna do? Give me the Blade Brand value. That's what they're gonna do. Sounds good to me. Now we can drop the Loper, and next turn have Guide. And if we draw a land, we get Guide and Sighting. Would like a land, really. Ooh, this is nice. Little Collected Company 2.0 action. Clear Shot, again, a nice pickup here. I get to put a Timberland Guide counter on the Loper, send in, and if they go for double blocks, we blow the crap out of it. And I don't blame them, you kind of have to, because this looks like a 1-for-1. They got a lot of mana and a lot of action in the yard here, so they don't have Storm Festival Part 2 yet, but we're not done yet. If they can deal with the Interloper especially. But that's actually pretty good for us. Them spending 7 mana on a 4/4 is fine for us right now, and also attacking with the 3/2 is. I mean, I like sending in the Guide now, although Guide, I guess, in a race situation blocks 4 from their 4/4. I think they're just going to trade with ours, though, which is why I want to add in the extra damage. Does it change the clock? If we send in and they eat and then take, we get them on a 1-turn clock with the Loper. If we send in and they trade here, we get them 5. We get them down to 5, which doesn't change the clock. I'm not seeing how it changes the clock, though, Mike. But it is practically guaranteed damage. I mean, we would love them to block the Guide, right? So, okay. And we are playing our own 4/4. I'm in. Deck should be kind to us no matter what. We don't have anything that costs 7 mana except the Sighting flashback. So a land gives us Sighting flashback. I guess the worst would be the Evolving Wilds because it's a land that doesn't give us our Sightings immediately. But like everything else is a good draw, and we already used the Wilds, right? So yeah, it's all good. Action or action is what we're going to draw. Oh, did they exile one of ours? What did they get? How did they do that? What did they do? Oh, Return to Nature. There you go. There you go, indeed. But still, looks good to us. We send in, and if they want to double block the 4/4 and take the Guide, that's probably what they have to do. And if they want to single block, if they want to block both things on the ground, that's great because our 4/4 eats. So we're going to send all again and then play our extra 4/4. And they're actually two mana away from being able to storm the festival again. And this doesn't get it done. So really, this card or this top of deck needs to deal with the interloper or we get game 1. And at 14, I mean, there are worlds in which they go so nuts on spells that the Festival Crasher gets us. So maybe Festival Crasher is actually a more important kill here in terms of what could we lose to. I don't know how we would lose. That you need to string together so many spells. So I guess it doesn't matter, but that's what I'm going to go for the bigger immediate creature, but that's what I was thinking about. There are worlds in which you can come up with a sequence in which Crasher is lethal, and so you should kill it, but I don't think we're in that world. And then the other question is, do you bother playing this out, given one of their only outs is the 5-mana sweeper? It would be silly, though, if we let them kill the interloper and then didn't have overwhelming attack back, because they go 4, 5, and then they have 3 mana. I guess they could kill interloper and still play the Cav. There are more ways that they could put up a defense than... I think it's more likely that they come up with a way to prevent lethal if I don't apply to the board than it is that they specifically have the one rare that's going to punish us. They might. I'm bracing for it, but I think statistically this is the correct play. Yeah. So it does look like a red-green spells-ish build of the... there's some werewolves going on. Hard to be in red-green without some werewolves going on, but it doesn't look like the heart of the deck. Looks like it's a very spell-heavy deck. Maybe playing into that green-red spells thing going around. Sure thing. Give you a Wonka scoop.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Except it's only the beginning of the match. It's only game 1 of the match. So Wonka gloating before we've got the match is asking for it from the magic gods. I'm going to continue the Celestius play, even though, yeah, I'm seeing that it's not amazing here. Possible some ground beef is actually good for us in this matchup, but we've got that. I'm going to run it back again. Oh, yeah, I guess they do have... Yeah, let's do that. Sorry, that's a good point. I brought this in specifically because it had application against graveyard-heavy decks, and this certainly is one. With the... there's a lot of flashback in Ardent Elementalist and stuff, and this is a real card against them. I agree. What do we cut? What's our worst? We could cut a random interloper. They've been fine, but not... I mean, I don't know. We kind of... Well, again, flyers can make a difference if they don't have the defense against them, and red-green can struggle there. So I actually think I want to keep my flyers. Maybe you take out the Celestis as... although there's going to be a night-day battle often against red-green, so the night and day are going to flip a lot. So actually I'm going to change my thought there and take out, maybe even the Blade Brand now that they're afraid of it, but it tends to act like removal. I'm going to do the guide. I don't know about that though. It has a lot of application as well. So I'm going to draw the Awakener and the sideboard card, and I wish we just had the Awakener guide curve out. Nope, but this is a flood risk, but we're going to keep. Nice that we have not drawn a land yet. Now Q drawing a land, but even drawing 2 straight spells off of a 5-lander just feels great. Great. Double Eaten Alive, I considered cutting one of these, but they're just so fine at 5. You know, at 5 mana, being able to just take something, exile something especially, is no joke. Ooh, interesting. What about... We don't have anything to do on 4 currently anyway, so I'm going to take the Evolving Wilds and do some deck thinning on 4 at least. All right, well, now new plan. Well, not new plan. Infernal Grasp, if they're setting up a 2-for-1, we're just going to take it with our thanks. Does that work? Yeah, they if they were going to do that, they should have just done it pre, I agree. Shadow Beast? I kind of like just making our own bigger beast and attacking, and then having all this action for the follow-up. We could just Eaten It Alive, though, and get in for 4, but we still get in for 2, and we add a big threat to the board. Just eat me alive. There is. Do we get defenestrated, though? Did I miss a defenestrate? This would leave us with 4, which is not 5. So I like Eaten Alive this turn. And then next turn, Celestis into Eaten Alive number 2. And we will take out the 4/4, I guess. This is a 4/3 that gets... It has Vigilance, but it gets worse when they crack their clue. So I like... getting rid of the large thing. And cracking away with all but the 2/3. Yeah, exactly. Beast count. So we get rid of the beast, and then if they sack this, it shrinks down. Party's crashing us. Crack it. You know you need it. All right. This should compel a scoop unless they've got something here in these 3 cards and this 3 mana. The pause is explained by the clue, so we don't know that they have anything. Yeah, let's do that. Here, you can have a defenestrate meme anyway. I'm sure I've missed a defenestrate along the way here.
All things that I used to know have gone out the window.
Yeah, funny. Well, you can only crash the storm and the festival in one way. You try to crash it multiple times, we're already crashed here, sorry. All right, I haven't updated my record yet. We're actually 2-0. We've got our gems guaranteed. That feels nice. Now let's see if we can grab profit. Let's see, I'll give you another meme we never see because people never play the card. How about this one?
Wolfman's got nards.
Oh boy. Once again, show me the swamp. I'd keep, but you can't show me the swamp, so we're out. All right. Prone to flood here, but we get to keep this, ditch a forest, and at least have a known turn 3 play. Thank you for the sub, 30-pound night, 19 months. Much appreciated. Infernal Grasp is a fine draw, but nothing we're going to spend here on a Trapper. Oh, Sentry. Just a turn late, buddy. Sentry would be lovely out there right now, but we could just go Sentry into Sighting. Maybe that's better than Rock into Sighting if we're not going to do anything else. And then eventually we get Rock into Grasp. Don't really want to trade Sentry for the Angler, though, is one issue. I'm going to go with just the Mana Rock here. Wow, they're going to take it out. No rock for you. Sighting for Sore Eyes. They've got a Trapper for it, but not immediately. And then maybe eventually we do grasp the Trapper. Potentially. Huh, that was an interesting cha-cha. Could be Combat Trick. What blows us out in blue-white? Defiance. Blessed Defiance makes some sense for this type of opponent, but it's not a huge blowout. It's a one for one-ish. Yeah, it's possible. And if they want to get rid of the flyer, I tend to want to do that. But I like, with Infernal Grasp, I should just say no blocks. They chose not to tap my Trapper, which further suggests that it's the Blessed Trick or whatever. And this is where I will use the Grasp to deny them that trick. And we get to hold up the Grasp while playing our Sweet Rare. Not going to grasp the Anglers, but I expect that Oppo is now on the Trapper plan, so I'm going to grasp the Trapper. I love instant speed removal killing tappers at the end of the opponent's turn, because a lot of times their whole defensive plan for your turn involved the tapper that you're getting rid of at the last second. It does cost us 2. We go to 10 here in a race situation, but this helps with the race. All right, so that's what we were seeing from Oppo. And now we get to eat that alive off of the token. I don't get to attack with the token and still eat it alive. And we're going to go I'm going to move to combat. They're going to tap the 4/4. And then we'll eat it. Then we'll eat. We don't get 5 in. They're going to totally tap our 4/4, right? How does that... But I mean, I eat it now, and it doesn't matter. Oh, wow. Okay. 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 Interesting. Now I'm wondering, what do they have? I think I need to leave Jadar back. And if it's the same trick, all right, we'll trade trick for 4/4, and then we get zombie and eaten alive. Oops, that was my... sorry. I didn't mean to attack with that. Meant to save it for the eaten alive, but we can still play the zombie and be okay-ish. Might just have to... that was dumb, though. Really didn't want to do that. Let's see now. What am I going to do about that? I got to mitigate my own misplay. You heard me talk through what I wanted to do, then I just didn't do it. Yeah, must be a counterspell or something. And zombie would get that done at most mana. Yeah, that's all I can do, really. We're not dead to attacks on the current board next turn or anything. So hopefully the eaten alive mistake won't cost me long game. But I really did want the trapper to be dead right now. Griff takes out some value from our graveyard. Too bad. But we weren't exactly close to 7 or anything. And now, where are we at? We might have to eat alive the 3/4 instead. And just really start staying back on blocks. Let's see what this looks like, though. So now... Eat alive the Griff we can send in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's almost lethal. If we eat alive for 1 and sack the token, we don't... Yeah, I'm just in for the Eaten Sentry. I think you're right, math. Although it's a... Eat, attack. Yeah, let's eat and sentry. It just does more damage next turn. And still gets us our replacement decay. We do get to send the 1/1. It's a pretty easy block for them, but maybe I should leave it back in case we decide we need to block the angler. It's just a straightforward bounce block for them. If it were not so straightforward, I would make them put them to the test, but it's just an obvious bounce block, unless you're really worried about our Blade Brand or something. All right. Oppo said they're done. Love it. So, with this, we're definitely bringing in the Rotten Reunion. And then I took a kind of arbitrary Timberland guide out. Maybe it is just the Celestis. I kept it in last time because we were specifically against werewolves, where I thought there'd be enough night and day going on that this would get us more than average value. But in this spot, I think we cut that and bring in the Reunion. And then we don't lose any of our oomph. Do we want a wolf in? Bounding Wolf does block these 1/2s as a surprise when they get to that flip side. So we could bring in a Bounding Wolf as well. They had a +2/+2 or +3 indestructible human. You like the 4/3 wolf? It's been so bad. But it's true that they are, it does good against these potential chumpers that are, although they still successfully chump. I think I'm going to run it back, but it doesn't embarrass 2 unblockers that you were looking to chump away anyway, is my point. There's not much difference between an angler chumping and an angler chumping and then getting -1'd. Yeah, you like it for the guide, but okay. All right. Let's try that. Or maybe one of those interlopers goes in this matchup since they trade with the random half cards in the air. Yeah, we'd love to find something we want to do on turn 2, but this is a keep. We can cycle Bladebrand at the worst, but I really don't want to do that if I can help it. Seems like destined to be a 2/3 here in this deck. This is the home for this card. Nice. We did find a 2 we want to play. Much appreciated deck. If they don't discard anything more to pump this, we have a trade for the Sifters, which I tend to just want to do, especially when it's not a card that gets them graveyard value. Yeah, they didn't even want to offer the trade. And if we send in this, they're going to probably just trade off for the Morning Patrol since it has the backside. We could, we just play the Death Toucher. The Death Toucher still trades with everything, as does the Wolf. It's all just a bunch of trades. The question is, really, do we want to send in the Sentry? But we can get to that potential point where we successfully get Coven and can attack with this. So let's give that a try, maybe. Because we can even block with this, and then we get a Decay Zombie, so that's our 2. And yeah, these big tokens here, big counters, make me want to go ahead and take a trade for one of these. Let's take it for the one that doesn't get graveyard value, although the Vigilance is real too. Maybe I'll just take out the Vigilant one, even though it puts value in the yard. We're going to have to get that value in the yard eventually anyway. What do you want to do, Hammer? I just like trading this here, and then we get a token that we can eat alive, and still Bounding Wolf. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well thought. I do forget that this is Exile. It's an important clause on it. It is very effective against these 2-for-1 disturbed creatures. Good thinking, chat. And we get an attack with a Sentry as well, because I wouldn't mind Sentry for Silversmith. And if they just don't take, then we have a Bounding Wolf flash opportunity. I guess we have that either way, but I don't know if we want to trade Bounding Wolf for Silversmith. It was not really the plan for the card, but we're definitely casting it this turn. So then the question is, it looks like maybe they don't want to trade with it since they didn't even bother attacking. I mean, I guess if you're not attacking, it's because you're afraid of this, but I don't know. Maybe they just plan to block this. Regardless, we'll offer both here and then follow with Cav, depending on... I mean, open mana could be a counterspell, but then we have Farmer Bladebrand. Yeah, great. It could be the Trick. I don't mind. We'll trade. We're trading for Silversmith or Trick. Yeah, that's fine. Makes it indestructible because it's human, so we're not going to waste the Bladebrand, but I don't mind this at all. Yeah, we'll still go Cav here. Oh, which one did I miss? Morning Patrol? Is that a thing? Oh, Airbud, thank you. That's the one I missed.
He's right. Ain't no rules that the dog can't play basketball.
Farmer hold up Bladebrand is fine. And do I need to do this first? It doesn't matter either way. Coven. Yeah, I guess it does matter. Coven is... It does matter. You're right, Hat. But Coven alters it while still giving us the Bladebrand. Just sending this, seeing if they want to go double. And then Bladebrand is just a slaughter here. Whammo. All right. How about that, gang? Good start to the week. We 3-0'd. Nice. Did we lose a game? I feel like we went to game 3 once, so we got 2 2-0s and a 2-1, I think. Very cool. Nice. Maybe I'll celebrate by that profit with by buying the Mastery Pass. Let's do that. Value. Mastery Pass value. New sleeves to boot. And yeah. Become the Drifter, or whatever that is. Probably got me some packs. Yeah, these are all the packs that I now have available. We can crack this. Let's see how many gems we got back on packs. I'm gonna draft token. Oh yeah. They have consistently been at least break even or slightly better for forever, always. I don't think you can show me one where if you completed it 100% and also 100% of the set, so that getting the extra rares and mythics were effectively gems, that it's always been neutral or positive. You're certainly not getting ripped off if you max your level. Yeah, if cosmetics are an active negative for you, then you maybe don't want it. But of course, you don't need to apply the cosmetics. And Hat is saying if you like cosmetics at all, it's plus EV. I honestly believe that it's plus EV if you're completely neutral. I mean, if you actively find them to be negative, okay. But if you're neutral on cosmetics, then you're still also positive. Yeah, that sounds about right, Severian. I would believe it. I mean, I didn't do the math this time, but 3,600 gems back on a 3,400 purchase sounds exactly right. Sounds exactly like the line that Wizards is trying to hit, which is like, it doesn't need, we're us that are doing the math on it. We don't need much of an incentive. It just needs to show us that it's not negative. Just show me it's not a bad deal, and I'm in. And so I'm in. Oh man, we got all sorts of new bling here too. It's kind of boring. I'll say goodbye to my YouTube friends as I sit here and max out the Mastery Pass, or fill in these Midnight Hunt Mastery Pass blobs, dots of upgrade. But we'll do it. We'll start it down here at the. Oh no, I was trying to do this. Actually get cosmetics on the cards we're gonna look system. Let's start with the commons and work our way up. We're drafters. Thanks, YouTube friends, for hanging out. Nice start to the week. Again, good to see that, yes, I mean, I was looking at blue-black. We might have ended up there, and if we had, it would have been fine. But we also pivoted away from it when we read the table. Found an open lane, and hey, what do you know? A good curve and reasonable spells can get you there, even if it's not the most powerful thing the format has to offer in the abstract. So thanks for chilling, YouTube friends. That was fun. No, I want to go blue. Might as well at least get cards in the right color. And we'll see you the next draft. Bye.